Hello, welcome back. Food allergies. Food allergy solutions are probably the most common topic that customers ask me about, and I feel bad because it's never anything that is just a straightforward, here, give this to your dog type of answer. What's super unfortunate is the fact that, in my opinion, it's because of overbreeding. There was a phase maybe 5 years back that the breed Golden Doodles were just the most popular type of dog to have. They can be awesome dogs, but because they were so popular, the demand for them was just so insane that breeders just were breeding Golden Doodles left and right. And all that has to happen is one dog with intense allergies who's now a parent to a litter of dogs, because that allergy or sensitivity or that neurological issue or that body deformity is going to be passed down to the babies. But when it comes to overbreeding, this is what happens. That's not just with Golden Doodles. French Bulldogs never used to have those like intense breathing problems. They never used to sound like they're struggling for their breathing. But again, overbreeding happened and now they all are just suffering with their breathing problems. So while many years ago, it was still common for dogs to have food sensitivities, intolerances, and allergies, but it wasn't as common as it is now due to overbreeding. But I am here to talk to you about how to recognize a food allergy and what to do when your dog does have a food allergy. So what you're gonna recognize first when your dog has an allergy or sensitivity to a food or like to a specific protein, let's say, is if you look at the bottom of your dog's paws, is the inside of it red? Does it smell funny? Does it have rawness to it? Flip up the ears. Are the ears a little bit extra red than they should be? Do they also have a little bit of a funky smell to them? Are they itchy and patchy? You also need to observe your dog. How much is your dog chewing on their legs? How much are they scratching and aggressively going at their body? Do they have hot spots? Hot spots are red circular patches that form when your dog's skin is irritated due to a food allergy. And that's not to say it's only due to a food allergy, but that's the most common sign, is itchy paws, itchy ears, and hot spots. Your dog also might have hives on their body, little bumps all over their body. In my experience, hives are more of a seasonal allergy rather than a food allergy, but also don't weigh that out. Does your dog have a little bit of excess tear stains? Then they probably should have. Tear stains are common in my opinion, especially for puppies when they are doing a lot of crying, but tear stains are also a result of a food intolerance or something that's not chemically balanced in their body. Are your dog's poops a little bit more runny than they should be? Because if they are, that could mean a food intolerance. And while all these signs can be so many different things, like red ears could be ear infection, runny poops could be needing more probiotics. Itchy skin can be anxiety. So it is a little bit difficult to really understand why your dog is having these problems, but your initial solution should be something to consider what's going on within the body first to work its way from the inside out. And then the first question that I ask a person when they tell me that their dog is having a lot of problems with their skin, for example, is I ask them, what is your dog eating? And most of them will tell me they're eating whatever brand of food and then whatever protein. For example, let's just say chicken. So they'll tell me, my dog is on Blue Buffalo food, chicken and rice recipe, and has been on that for the past 5 years. And then that's just a light bulb off in my mind. Just, you've been giving your dog chicken food for the past 5 years. Of course your dog is going to develop intolerances to it, but that's also something that a lot of people don't realize. Like, lots of people, I think in their mind, they'll be giving their dog something for the past 5 years, and because their dog has been fine for that amount of time, it's weird to them that now their dog is getting sensitive to this protein. It's my job to kind of switch their mindset and say, you've been giving your dog too much of this, so that is why that your dog is having these problems now. In general, I don't usually like to switch the brand of food that they're on unless I know that it's a brand of food that's really not the best for them. Let's say that your dog is on IMS, for example. That's not the best quality food and you could definitely do better. So picking a good brand of kibble is a start. And in my previous video, I did talk about how to pick the right brands of food and I did ingredient comparisons of what to look for. So starting off, to improve your dog's overall outside body health, you want to make sure you're providing them with good nutrients and good quality foods on the inside. Next, I tell them, and we're still pretending that they're on a chicken recipe, I tell them to go off of chicken and do a different protein in general. Keep in mind, switching brands, especially from a lower quality to a higher quality, quality. Their bodies need to take some time to adjust to the new food. The adjustment process is gonna look like a little bit of runny poop, but you do wanna do a slow transition. You want to do 75% of the old food, 25% of the new food for about 4 days, and literally just mix it together and put it in the bowl. And then for the next 4 days, you want to do a 50-50 mix. And then for the next 2-ish days, you can do 25% of the old food and 75% of the new food. And then after that, you can be completely on the new food. You really do have to keep in mind though, when it comes to allergies, the reason of you switching food in general, you're not going to see skin and outside body result until you're off of that brand of food and that protein that your dog might be allergic to. Once that transition process to the new brand is out of the way, then you're good to kind of observe your dog over the next few weeks. Let's say you went from the brand Iams chicken recipe to the brand Acana pork recipe. Once you transition and slowly remove Iams from your dog's diet and your dog is completely on Acana now, you still have to give your dog's body time to see a difference and to make sure that this is a diet issue that your dog is having rather than another sort of issue. With my experience, skin issues is usually diet problems. So let's say that your dog has now been on Acana pork for a month now. The skin is all better, no more hot spots, no more itching, but there's runny poop. You now know that your dog was having those skin issues because either the quality of food was too low or your dog is sensitive to chicken. But now there's a problem with the diarrhea. Some dogs need to be on probiotics in general just to help with the digestion process. And again, going back to the excessive amounts of breeding that happened years ago that's now passed down to dogs today, there can be so many issues and reasoning behind their issues that this is why adding supplements into your dog's diet is so common now. So the dog is on Acana pork with diarrhea, I would suggest adding a probiotic into the diet. Not only does it help with absorbing all the nutrients and minerals, but it also helps with the digestion process and helps everything come out smoothly. After the probiotics, I would hope that is the solution. The dog's ears and paws have cleaned up. That was totally me this time. That was not Sage. I just completely knocked over the tripod. What the heck? So if you give your dog a probiotic for the first month maybe, and then take your dog off it for a few weeks and then put it back on, if your dog's body is still suffering on this pork recipe without the probiotics, then you know that that's another issue with the protein that your dog is having. You don't want your dog's body to be dependent on the probiotic. Like I said, figuring out what food works with your dog, you have to be very patient with this process because it does take time to work in the body. It's not going to work tomorrow. It's you need to observe and you need to watch and you need to see what works with your dog and what your dog's body needs. Okay, so now we're going back to our example with the dog being on a pork recipe but needing a probiotic to have healthy poops. You know that pork isn't good for that. So then you would want to stay within Acana but maybe switch to an easier protein like a fish. Take your dog off the probiotic and switch to a fish recipe and see how that goes. Give it a week, give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks, and just see how it's going. Keep observing the skin and the ears and the paws. Keep watching the poop consistency. Just keep doing trial and error of what works. You also really need to keep in mind that when you're doing this process of elimination type of system, make sure that you're not giving your dog any other source of animal protein for treats as well. For this process of elimination time, you should only give them like a vegetable-based treat, or you can do that same source of protein. You also don't want to be overloading your dog with just that one source of protein. That's why I suggest when it comes to treats, doing like peanut butter types of treats or pumpkin, sweet potato. Those types of treats when you're doing a process of elimination diet is super helpful. All I can say is that in this whole process of figuring out what your dog is allergic or sensitive to, keep patient and keep consistent. Really observe their signs and behavior and how much they're itching today versus how much they were itching last week. So again, patience, consistency, and observation. Anyways, good luck. Thank you for watching. I really hope that it helped you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.